Sorry. I'm enjoying that tune. Right. Okay. I'll do. We've been going for a bit. So day one more, because that'll be 2 hours maybe. It depends on the length of it. So day. Right. So that's us on to 8. This is chapter 8, right? Cool. Sleepy. Sleepy. Or sleepy. Whoa, that's a really big yawn, Cage-kun. I'm usually awake once it's time to eat, but it doesn't look like I can do it today. I was watching TV until late last night. I'm so tired right now. Was one of those raunchy TV shows you love so much on last night? How extremely vile. Don't jump to conclusions. It's perfectly normal for boys, nothing to be ashamed about. Rika not patting my head only made me feel worse. Could you just let me pass out this lunch break? No, seriously. You think I would just sit here and allow that? I'll get really angry if you disturb me. Really angry. Yawn. This was just dreadful. Just so sleepy. I slumped my head onto the desk and drifted off into an afternoon nap. It seemed that Satoko had responded, but I pretended not to hear. Cut it out, Satoko-chan. Keiichi-kun fell asleep. His sleeping face, so cute! You can take him home later. Let him be for now. Let's move over there. It'd be rude to Keiichi if we bother him now. Riki-chan really is a good girl. Let's not wake him up even if the teacher comes back. I take that back. Fuck you, Rico. The excuse that I didn't sleep much last night because I was watching TV was a lie. I was in bed at the usual time, but because of the conversation with Oyoshi-san that afternoon, I didn't get much sleep. Just spending the day like this, it's almost as if the incident with Tomitaki-san didn't happen at all. It made me think, was Oyoshi-san just trying to deceive me? But it was probably the truth. One thing was certain, I couldn't speak to anyone about it. He wanted my assistance, but I really didn't know anything about it. If I knew I wasn't going to be of any help, I probably wouldn't have listened in the first place. And yeah, it ended up with me again regretting learning something I didn't need to know. If I had never learned about it, I would, without a doubt, be goofing off with the rest of them right now. I couldn't help but resent Oyoshi-san for this. When was that? I heard he wasn't there the next day. It appears he vanished the night of Tanagashi. Mion whispered to keep others from listening, but I could hear it clearly. On the other hand, Rena's voice was even harder to pick up, but I could still tell that she was quite upset. It couldn't be. Are they talking about Tomitaki-san? Nile Itake. Not sure. That's all I know. I let off feigned ignorance about this topic because I needed to keep it a secret. Rather than waking up and being forced to lie to join the conversation, it wasn't much easier just to sit here and pretend I was asleep to listen in on their discussion. Wait, why did I have to pretend to be asleep while eavesdropping on my friend's conversation? The guilt stung. So, and me, there are others, right? Too. But they don't know if it's from the curse or if it was an Onikakushi? Or if this was an Onikakushi. Onikakushi? Yeah, man, that's what I'm thinking. What the fuck is an Onikakushi? Onikakushi? To be hidden away by a demon? What a mysterious phrase. I did, however, get the feeling it meant nothing good. Oh, like spirited away. Cool. There was another, right? Right? If it's Oyashiro-sama's, yeah. But this year, Grandma and the mayor have talked about it. Seems they're talking to the police about it beforehand. They talked to the police about it beforehand. They said they'd taken care of whatever happens this year without causing a commotion. Then, without us knowing it, someone had them. You mean? Maybe. Next could me, I wonder. Don't worry. You got home safely. But is not allowed, right? That was a long time ago. Let's stop talking about this. Amidst the uncomfortable mood, both of them went silent. The entirety of the conversation was still a bit unclear, but a few parts caught my attention. First of all, the term Onikakushi, to be demoned away. By the context it was used in, I would guess it was similar to being spirited away. Yeah, spirited away. I suspected that was what it meant because Tomitaki-san and the woman, it really bugged me that I didn't know her name, vanished after the Watanagashi. The next thing that stuck out was when Rena said, "There's another one, right?" Mion had said, "If Oyashiro-sama's," yeah, responded to something. If it's Oyashiro-sama's curse, then there had to be 2 victims. Is that what she meant? Come to think of it, I remember Mion saying in the beginning that they didn't know if it was from the curse or if it was a case of Onikakushi. It seems that the curse and being demoned away are different things, and they were phenomena that were paired together. I recall Tomitaki-san's terrible end. It wasn't something as elegant as disappearing. That horrendous end would best be described as cursed. Then the woman with him, it means she vanished because she was demoned away? What do I know? What I do know is that there's normally an even number of victims of the curse proper. And the last point that bothered me was Rena. Rena was frightened. For what reason, I don't know. However, she knew that something had made her a potential target for Oyashiro-sama's curse. If I recall correctly, Oyashiro-sama should be the guardian deity of Hinamizawa. Isn't a guardian deity supposed to defend the citizens and drive out invaders? If I recall correctly, yesterday Oyoshi said that the originally targets were enemies of the village, but recently there was no longer any distinction between them or regular outsiders. But if that was the case, then I would think that I'd be the more likely target, having moved here more recently than Rena. From her composure, I could infer that she was grimly certain that she would be next. I should probably relax relay what I heard just now to Oyoshi-san, fuck's sake. Informing the police what I'd heard by eavesdropping on my friends while pretending to be asleep. It made me feel terrible. It raised a few questions and left me with a bad taste in my mouth. Would it be better not to seek the answers to those questions? As I continued to learn more and more, I felt like I'd fallen past the point of no return. I would definitely regret this one day. I would definitely regret ever having learned of these events. Fuck. The teacher approaches. Keiichi-san, you must awaken. In the distance I could hear a bell, the ring of the handbell signalling the start of afternoon classes. Yeah, I can't sleep at all. I hastily opened my eyes and raised my head up. It was at that moment that I leaned against the back of my seat. Ugh! There was a thumbtack stuck in the back of my chair with tape. Circumstantial evidence was enough. Satoko! Guilty without trial! Capital punishment! I furiously jumped up from my seat and tripped as if my feet were tangled together. My shoelaces had become tied together. Not bad, Satoko. While I was sleeping, you were able to conceal your presence and able to pull off some fine piece of work. The teacher came in right as I was about to pull off my shoes and tackle Satoko. Oh, oh, oh! Did you not notice that our teacher has arrived, Keiichi-san? Take your seat. Clomp, clomp, whoosh, 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 biff. Not caring one bit, I made her get a flick to the forehead. Blah! Keiichi-san's being mean! Hey! Don't pick on the younger kids, Maya Barakin. Apologize to her. I saw Satoko stick her tongue out at me, that little brat. Come on, Maya Barakin. Yeah, I apologize. Sorry, Satoko-chan, san. In any case, I apologized, even if it was in a completely insincere tone of voice. Damn her, I remember this. Kei-chan, get your revenge at the club meeting. Take your seat, take your seat. I sat down after Mion told me to. She'd switched to class representative mode. Representative. Class representative mode. What is representative? Which tunes is it gonna be? Hey! I like tunes in this game. It's pretty good. With the boring classes finished, school was finally over for the day. Hooray! Now then, what should we do for our club activity today? Personally, I would like to play that deduction game one more time. I was hardly able to play it last time because of Higurashi-san. Ren and I weren't even able to test out our strategy. That's right, today Keiichi-kun and I will be victorious! What should we do? We've never played the same game 2 days in a row before. Why not try asking me? I say okay. Mion looked over her shoulder as we made eye contact. She slowly taped her palm with a fist as her face suddenly lit up. Oops, I completely forgot. I need to go help my uncle today. Sorry guys, not today. Helping your uncle? Aren't you a little giddy two-shoes? Aren't you a little giddy two-shoes? Sorry, really. I really did forget. Well then, sorry guys. This old man is heading back home now. Mion left us with that and rushed off to the exit after snatching up her bag. You see, Mi-chan, she sometimes goes to help out her uncle shop in town. I thought she was the type. I thought she wasn't the type to get caught up in such bothersome stuff. She said that she gets paid for it. It's quite a bit of spending money from what I hear. I see. She was able to pay for that mountain of games with what she was able to pay for that mountain of games with what she'd saved up from there. But that, wouldn't you call that a part-time job? Isn't that against school policy? There's a clause that states family businesses are excluded. Is that what she's calling it? So what now? Pass on the club today? So we're done today, I guess. Wouldn't it be fine even without the club president? Let's do this! I opened the club locker and began searching for the deduction game from that ever-growing pile of games. Ah, here it is! The deduction game from yesterday. Man, I had to stop just as I was getting the hang of it. At the very least, I wanted to repay Satoko for what she did during the afternoon break. I don't mind, but is that fine for Rena-san and Rika? If Keiichi-kun wants to so badly, I wouldn't mind playing for a bit. I think it's better if we do it when we have everyone together. Then she says it like that. When she says it like that, I wanted to go shopping if there wasn't a club meeting today. Going to buy some soy sauce and other things. Oh, that's right. I completely forgot. Forgot what? Well, I guess since it's been a while, I should go treasure hunting. What's this now? What's this now? Everyone's no longer in the mood for club activities? If I keep on trying to push them out, it may make them realise I had a trick up my sleeve. Ah well, I'll give up this time. Man, I was really looking forward to playing it. I shuffled through the cards as if I was still caught up in it. At the next opportunity I shall give you a sound thrashing. Oh ho ho ho. The murderer is Satoko. The murder weapon is a pistol. And it was you after all. What? What did you say? Then I'll just... Satoko looked through the cards on the deck and stuck out 3 of them at me. The murderer is Keiichi. In the lounge, with the rope. I don't need no rope. I'll just strangle you with this. No, Kei-san is such a... Keiichi-san is such a beast. Pew. Well, I guess it's good that I got that out of my system. Wow, remember this, Keiichi-san. She was upset as... Wait, she was used as a plaything for quite a while. What? What the fuck is going on? Right, wait. She was used as a plaything for quite a while. How unfortunate. Ah, cute, cute. What the fuck? Everyone got ready to go back home. I also helped gather up the scattered cards. I suddenly paused. They were just the suspect cards, but I noticed something strange. Rena, Satoko, Rika, Keiichi, Mion, Satoshi. Satoshi? No, all the cards were made by us. Or at least every card beside this one has the name of a club member. Does this mean that this Satoshi fellow is a member? Was there someone in the class named Satoshi? I couldn't find anyone named Satoshi in the class roster stuck up on the wall. Gage-kun, let's hurry and finish cleaning up. Being rushed by Ren, I finished up quickly. Satoko and Rika-chan were had already headed merrily for their lockers, so we were the only ones left in the classroom. Right now, Rena had already gotten her bag and was ready to leave. Rena, there must be quite a few people who transfer from the school, right? I tried asking Rena in a bit of a roundabout way. Rena made a troubled face and then answered. Yeah, Hinamizawa is a rural town, right? Some people transfer out every now and then. Then is Satoshi another one of those transferees? Sorry, I don't really know. And there was a bit of a pause, but the answer was pretty much immediate. I'm not saying it to be mean. Just last year I transferred in, so maybe I just missed him. So I didn't hear much about him. Sorry. Interesting. I'm not sure. Sorry. Her answer was a lot like when she refused to tell me about the murder at the dam. I wasn't saddened by her denial, and I was saddened by her denial. I felt a little bit of anger. I'm their friend, aren't I? Friends don't keep secrets from their friends, do they? Though I do appreciate that they kept the unsettling curse thing from me, but if everyone is worried about it, I'd rather be worried with them. That's what it means to be friends, right? For a moment, I wondered just what kind of face I was making just then, with these mixed feelings of sadness and annoyance. Cage-kun, you're making a scary face. Why is it? Why? It was probably exactly the kind of face Rena said it was. It appeared my grim expression had frightened her. Ah, sorry. I was really looking forward to the club today. I'm just feeling down about it. I rustled Rena's hair. Let's go home. Dragging that awkward mood with us, we headed home. I wonder why. Why have I been getting this dumb feeling lately? I didn't know anything. I had nothing to worry about. I was just enjoying my everyday life. My long, outstretched shadow gave no answer to my naive inquiry. Gage-kun, are you tired, maybe? Maybe? Rena timidly questioned the reason behind my mood. I'm sure my expression made this situation even more unsettling. You think so? Yeah. You seem to have been a little out of it ever since this morning. Maybe a cold? Physically, I was pretty sure I was in perfect health. I may not seem like it, but I've had perfect attendance since elementary school. Rena continued on since I didn't give her an answer. It could be that the fatigue from moving has finally caught up to you. It's completely different from where you used to live, after all. Of course, you've gotten tired since there's so much you need to get used to and remember. Maybe that's it. Yeah, it has to be. Reno was also like that at first too. I can tell you, you know. I wonder if Reno also experienced the slight bit of alienation last year that I was feeling right now. Thinking so, I felt that she was the only one who could understand how I felt. I'd like to hear about when you first came to Hinamizawa. How was it? Feeling I had been drawn into the conversation, her face suddenly brightened. Ah, it was the same as Keiichikin. I didn't know the villagers' names at all. Michan and the rest were all very kind, so I wasn't lonely, but I did still feel a little out of place. Rena told me all the details of when she had moved here. All of our first acquaintances and surprises, worries and good times. So, Satoko got you too? Yeah, it was a thumbtack put on my chair. Poke. Then with that yeah, that really takes me back. When were you invited into the club? The first day? Nah, there wasn't a club at the beginning. It was formed partway through. One day she said we should stay after school and hold a big game tournament. Come to think of it, Mion did say she was the first club president. Now I get it. This is a secret, but Mi-chan used to be very bad at the beginning. She'd never win. Huh? Mion? Really? I can't even imagine that. She had to do most of the penalties that she came up with. Ah, seriously, don't tell. Can't believe Mion was like that. So she gradually transformed into a monster who used any means necessary to win during that time. Mion is at her best when she's fighting dirty. I began making more friends besides Mi-chan after that, but yeah, it might have been since we moved here. It might have only been since we moved here that I had finally felt like I had gotten used to it here. I guess Rena had also been left in the dark about Oyashiro-sama when she had just moved here. I guess when they finally told me about Oya, I guess when wait, I guess when they finally told me about Oyashiro-sama, I'd be considered one of them. I wonder when I'd finally be considered one of them. Huh? Did you say something? No, sorry. Just talking to myself. Ah, KHQ, you silly. Fuck. Rena was poking fun and laughing at me, and I couldn't help but laugh as well. But I suddenly stopped. After making up my mind, I spoke. Hey Rena, is there something that everybody is keeping from me? Huh? No, not at all. You're lying, aren't you? Rena suddenly stopped. Her expression was cold and intense. What do you mean by that? Cage-kun? Her tone was still the same cheery and light-hearted one as before. You are, aren't you? Keeping something from me. After understanding what I meant, her expression grew even more intense. Seeing that face, I regretted saying something so rash. But she came back at me in a way I didn't expect. Well then, Cage-kun, aren't you keeping something from us? Huh? Her tone didn't change, but it was the first time I'd seen this expression from Rena. With how her gaze pierced through me, I couldn't believe this was the same Rena. Aren't you? Lies or secrets? Aren't you? You are. Secrets. She didn't actually say that part, but she looked as if she did. The incident with Tomitaki-san and how I felt alienated from the group. Even without thinking about it, there were things that I felt guilty about, but I didn't tell anyone about what happened with Tomitaki-san to be considerate. I was keeping it a secret just the same way they didn't tell me about Oyashiro-sama. Then, aren't we even? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No lies. Nor secrets. Liar! Her answer was instant and it shook me. Rena stared as if burrowing through me, watching me like a hawk. Why would you say that I'm lying? Don't you say that you were... Wait, didn't you say that you were called into the teacher's room yesterday during the club meeting, Keiichi-kun? I know. You didn't go to the teacher's room. I swallowed hard. It clearly wasn't a bluff. She knew what happened. The teacher said you had a guest, didn't she? But you didn't talk at the entrance. You talked inside the car near the school gate with some man we don't know. Rena knew everything. She knew that I was talking to Oyoshi-san and that I'd heard about the incident from Tomitaki-san as well. Did she know all of it? Exactly who was that man? I don't know him. Why did someone you don't know have business with you? I want to know that myself. Then what did you talk about? Or then what did you talk about? It's nothing to do with you guys. It was a lie. Lies! She getting scary. Ran a scream echoed through the trees, sending frightened birds into the air. I couldn't exhale the deep breath I had just taken in. No, it was like I wasn't allowed to inhale. It was here I first realised the person in front of me wasn't Rena Ryugu. Then, who was it that was standing before me now? Who had assumed Rena Ryugu's appearance? I had held my breath for so long I could feel myself suffocating. Right? Then she made a facial expression that Rena normally might have made. It didn't matter that it was Rena's usual smell. It chilled me to the bone. She drew herself closer to me. I could feel her breath against my face. It wasn't the least bit exciting. Whoever this was with Rena's face was going to chew my nose off right. Chew my nose right off. I cowered as I imagined that. Then she smirked as if she was able to see right through me. We also have secrets, just like Keiichi-kun has secrets. It was Rena's usual smile, but her eyes were still like that of a hawk's. Bringing her face close enough to mine till it almost bumped into my nose, she kindly persuaded me. I couldn't nod or shake my head. This person standing in front of me, this person who looked like Rena, frightened me to my core. I was terrified knowing that she could hear the sound of me swallowing nervously. After what felt like an eternity, after a long empty silence, she finally spoke. Let's go. It's getting chilly. It was Rena again. Smiling at me once more, she started walking as if nothing at all had happened. When I was released from her gaze, my legs gave out from under me and I slumped onto the ground. I wasn't able to lift a finger until Rena was out of sight. Who was that? I felt cold, my body was drenched in sweat. I was finally able to form a coherent thought, and I asked myself once again, who was that person? who looked like Ren or Ayugu. Dum dum dum. That's fucking freaky. Fucking hell. See her eyes. Her eyes were scary, like scary. I was out of it and couldn't bring myself to do anything until dinner except stare blankly into space. Was I terrified from Rena going off on me? No, that's not right. There was someone else who only looked like Rena. That was someone else who only looked like Rena. Then who could it have been? It was a dreadful feeling, knowing that knowing that was someone else, not Rena. So tomorrow I shouldn't have a problem talking to Rena like I usually do. That thought was strangely comforting. I concluded that I should just calm down and clear my head. Though these thoughts continued swirling around. These thoughts continued swirling around in my mind. Around my mind. Not in my mind. Around my mind. Finally, I returned to my senses as I heard my mother calling out to me from the bottom of the steps. Keiichi! It's a call from the bookstore. Bookstore? Can't think of why they'd be calling me. I went downstairs and picked up the receiver anyway. My apologies for calling so late that night. It's me, Oyoshi, from the Okinomiya bookshop. Oyoshi-san? Oh, it's Oyoshi-san. Oyoshi-san. Sorry, since your parents picked up, I said I was from the bookstore. It puts people off when I say I'm a police officer. Oyoshi-san was, in his own way, rather courteous. Even so, I didn't want my parents hearing me talk to the police. I brought the cordless phone with me as I dashed back up to my room on the second floor. Sorry for calling so late. That phone number on the piece of paper I gave you yesterday was the old number. My apologies. Can you copy down the number I'm about to give you? Yeah. Okay. He gave me the number as direct line as I wrote it down. I thought that was the end of it, but it began making pointless small talk, and it was pretty hard to hang up. So, how's it been, Mayabara-san? Did anything strange happen recently? I see. This was the real reason. He really beat around the bush there. His adult conversational skills left me slack-jawed. Are you from around here, Oyoshi-san? Yeah, I am. Born and raised in Okinomiya. Fuck you, laughing at me. If he's from around here, he might know. Ayoshi-san, do you know what this Oni-kakushi thing is about? I believe that's when someone suddenly vanishes because they've been abducted by a demon. It's a special saying from around here. It has the same meaning as spirited away like everyone else says. Whereas my friends would say they didn't know when I asked. This older man gave me a direct answer. It made me a bit happy that he answered me directly without trying to hide anything. Hinamizawa was, not sure if I should tell you this, Mayabara-san. Don't try to play this off. If you're not going to talk, then I'm not going to tell you anything. No. That's not what I meant. It's just, it may make you feel bad. You see, long ago, Hinamizawa was feared as a village where demons reside. Demons? By demons you mean those pitchfork-carrying things in hell? More like human-eating monsters. Okay, fucking human-eating monsters? Fucking monsters? They'd go down to villages snatching up people and grabbing them, gobbling them down. That kind of tale. Demons snatching up people is what this Oni-kakushi really means. They said the curse and being demoned away happened together. What does that mean? I already knew about the mysterious deaths happening 5 years in a row, but I didn't know there were people disappearing from those same 5 years. The curse and being demoned away happened together. First time I've heard of it. Is that how it is, Mayabara-san? That's what I want to know. I heard Rena and Mion talking. They said that that if it was really Oyoshiru-sama's curse, then both the curse and demoning away would happen. Oyoshi-san began hemming and hawing on the other end of the receiver. Maybe something about that came to mind? Mayabara-san, do you know the first incident? The murder by dismemberment? Yeah? One of the 6 perpetrators is still on the run, right? Hypothetically. What if he isn't on the run but was demoned away? Huh? It was an outrageous hypothesis from Oyoshi-san. The incident 4 years ago was the particularly ghastly one. The police already knew the perpetrators, so they posted tons of wanted posters with his face on them. They staked out various locations and investigated every possible escape route he had. But after 4 years, there wasn't even a hint of where he might be, unless the police were completely incompetent. Even if it was an outrageous hypothesis, I couldn't simply laugh it off. Then what about the incident the next year? The man who supported the project and his wife both died in an accident. Well, actually, it was only the husband who died in the accident. In an accident, his wife's body was never surfaced. One second. That's fucking quite crazy, like. Unless we find the body, then it's considered a missing person by law. At the time of the incident, with the river below the cliff being muddy rapids, the police divers had searched every branch off the main stream of the river for dozens of miles, but in the end they weren't able to find her body. But that's just them not being able to find the body. She's still dead, right? Isn't it different from being demoned away? You cannot say someone is dead without their body. Until a certain number of years pass, by law she's treated as still alive. I'm not sure if this was right to call that being demoned away. The wife is missing. At least that part was reality. How about the 3rd year? The Shinto priest died of illness, and his wife committed suicide. Mayabara-san, that's actually the exact same scenario. The wife had supposedly thrown herself into the bottomless marsh deep in the forest around Hinamizawa, meaning it's all circumstantial evidence. They simply found her suicide note in front of the marsh. The diver was able to recover a few remnants, but they weren't able to find a body. The investigative headquarters believed that she had faked her death and was still alive somewhere. I'm not sure if we could call these cases as being demoned away. It's just as you've said, every year one person does go missing. This incident this year, the woman with Tomitaki-san has gone missing. Then what about the incident with the housewife being beaten to death? Who went missing? I believe the perpetrator was caught, right? Yeah, we arrested him. He was just a miscreant with a record of narcotics abuse. He admitted to the crime while being questioned about a different incident. Well, oh wait. But, well, you see... Oh no, I didn't like it when they see when they say shit like that. That's when you can. That's when you can. That's when you can. It's gonna be it. But you see... What? So somebody disappeared then? That was the only one that really didn't he? Somebody else disappearing, I think. After he was arrested, a child from the victim's home went missing. Shit. It's still under investigation as to whether the disappearance had anything to do with the crime. But you said you caught him, right? Did he have an accomplice? No idea. It's considered a separate case. Moreover, we can't even check now. Because, well, under investigation, that man, he died in his holding cell. He swallowed a spork and choked to death. It's not known whether it was an accident or a suicide. Meaning, for the last 5 years, there's always one person who dies and one who goes missing. That's about right. No, actually, I'm surprised as well. I never realised they had that in common. I couldn't believe that this could happen. I couldn't believe that this could help lead to closing. I couldn't believe that this could help lead to the closing of those incidents. It was just something they had in common. Could it be that those deemed away had something in common? Oyoshi-san mumbled as he seemed to be thinking about it. So I summarised the events. The first year was the dam employee. Second year was the wife of the dam project supporter. Third year was the wife of the Shinto priest. Fourth year was the victim's family's child, and the fifth year was the victim's girlfriend, I guess. It doesn't seem like there is anything that connects them. With the exception of the first year, wives and girlfriends, those do stand out. What about the boy or the child? It does seem like there are a lot. And that means the fourth year's victim's child was different. It would have really stood out if they were married couples, except it's not just married couples, but parents and children as well. Come to think of it, I believe Tomitaki-san told me the younger brother is alive and has moved, if I recall recently. If I recall correctly. Recall recently, what the fuck? The child that went missing in the fourth year, who were they? Apparently, he was quite mature. 1 year older than you. His name was Satoshi Hojo-san. Huh? Satoshi? I remember that name. Didn't they tell me Satoshi transferred out last year? He was at your school until last year. Didn't they tell you anything about him? Come to think of it, when I transferred in, I believe they said my seat belonged to the recent transfer student. When? Then where I sat once belonged to the one who was demoned away. I was in his seat. I recalled the cold sensation that came from that desk. It made my hair stand on end. This string of mysterious deaths. No, Oyashiro-sama's curse. I now knew how it connected to me. This chilling sensation, the feeling of that chilling sensation, it was the feeling of Oyashiro-sama caressing the back of my neck. Oyashiro-sama's curse, huh? Could Oyashiro-sama's curse really exist? That's a lot of Oyashiro-sama's curse. In all honesty, I was beginning to believe it. And I was scared. That was why I wanted to say it was a plot crafted by man and not the work of a curse. But the more I dug into it, the less likely that seemed. No, the more I dug, the more mysterious it became. If I kept digging, eventually I'd reach the point where I'd learned something I really shouldn't know. To either be none the wiser or to seek the answer I may regret. Which one would I be happier with? Maybe it'll be me next time. My execution could only be delayed for 1 year. Shit, that's deep, man. That was when I remembered Rena. Rena said she may be the next victim of the curse. You mean Rena Ryugu-san? She transferred in last year and she's your classmate, isn't she? These incidents really might be a bit too disturbing for a girl. She's not just scared, is she? It wasn't that. She said it might be her next. She said it in a way that made me think she had a concrete reason behind it. It felt like she was convinced, almost as if, you could say she was frightened. Her sudden change in demeanour, as someone who looked like Rena but wasn't Rena. That might be unrelated. All the strange things that I felt from Rena today came back to me. I see. Then I'll be doing a bit of investigating on this end. Please continue your observations of Ryugu-san, Mayabara-san. Are you asking me to keep Rena under surveillance? That's not what I mean, Mayabara-san. I just want you to watch out for your friends so she doesn't end up the next victim. At that moment, just as my mouth was agape, because I was so impressed with his mature, clever way with words. Knock, knock. A sudden knock at the door set my heart racing. In an instant, I had pointlessly covered up the end of the receiver. Keiichi, get the door, please. On the other side of the door, I heard my father's oddly upbeat voice. What could it be? It's so late. Sorry, my dad just came in. Can we leave it at this for tonight? Yeah. My apologies again for the late call. For calling so late. Fuck you! If you find out anything else, please let me know. I'll tell you if I make any progress on this end. Well then, have a pleasant evening. Keiichi, hurry up and open! Daddy's got his hands full. What was Dad doing? I'd stayed in the same position while on the phone the whole time, so my joints were aching. Hey! When I opened the door, I saw my father was standing there with a tray. On the tray, cookies, 2 cups of black tea, a fairly fancy spread for our household. There was even sugar and lemon slices on the side, everything you could ask for. This was quite the show of hospitality. What's going on, Dad? What's all this for? Come now, don't play around, Keiichi. I'm coming in. Dad was in high spirits and had a smirk on his face, but for my entire life I'd never seen him act this hospitable. What had gotten into him? So, what were you talking about? I jumped. It's not something I had to keep from my father. But how could I explain to him that I was talking to a detective? I'm assuming he was, this late at night. Nothing much, just a friend. I don't mean the phone. She was here, wasn't she? Rena-chan. She wasn't here. Come now, don't try to keep it from me. She just came over to play. You two were chatting away, so I thought I'd bring some tea, but looks like I just missed her. I had no idea what Dad was talking about, but a cold sweat dripped in my back. How long were we talking? Rena-chan went upstairs about half after, so it was close to an hour, I guess. You saw her come up to the 2nd floor? Yeah, I did. Also told her that your mom was the door down the hall up the stairs. Rena came to my house about an hour ago. Dad met her at the door and called out to me on the 2nd floor. Probably didn't hear him because I was so focused on my conversation with Oshi-san. I didn't reply, but he knew I was in my room, so he had her come inside. Then told her my room was on the 2nd floor. She thanked my dad and went upstairs. Then, about an hour passed. She passed my dad just as he was bringing up tea and left. She came upstairs about an hour past. Then passed my dad and returned home. Then, after she came upstairs and until she left, where was Rena? There's only a short hallway between my room and the stairs, meaning Rena had, for about an hour, in the hall. No, she couldn't have been standing in front of my door all that time. The door to my room wasn't particularly thick. You could easily hear everything being said inside. All the ominous things and all the nonsense I spoke to Oshi-san about rushing through my head began rushing through my head. I was gonna say it right the first time. Fuck you! Honey, don't tease me. More importantly, you need to clean up your studio. It's a mess again. Mom yelled at Dad from downstairs. Dad left the tray with me and went downstairs with a disappointing chortle. I followed my dad out of the room with my eyes. I looked down at the floor around the doorway where Rena might have stood all that time. Just now, as I was talking to Oshi-san with my back turned, Rena was standing a mere 6 feet away the whole time. At that time, in this dimly lit doorway, what did she see? What did she hear? For what reason? As the steam from the 2 cups ominously wafted and twisted, the aroma of black tea filled my room. Things are getting fucking weird. The fuck? It's fucking crazy that. You received new tips. A notice from the police chief, eh? Right, then I click none. Right, cool. Lies! Fucking hell. Cool. Notice from the police chief. July 1st, 1982. The departments 1 through 12. XX Prefectural Police Headquarters, Director General XXX. To the Chief Constable and all facility managers, regarding cases situated in the Hinamizawa village. Notice. As the cases in Shishabone City, Hinamizawa village have been reported by certain sections of the mass media has drawn global attention, which has caused serious repercussions to local residents, as has become a very serious situation. To protect the livelihood and prosperity of the residents, the following rules have been made. 1. Designate the following criminal activities as classified. Okonomiyaya Station. Oh, fucking hell, I'm clicking it. I'm not clicking it. Hinamizawa house where mother blah blah. Station, blah blah, case murder 2. Hinamizawa village student disappeared. Date, blah blah blah, June. Non-disclosure of information, number 2. Okonomiyaya Station, blah blah blah, case number X. Hinamizawa village site, foreman murder, date, June. Shooter Station, 1980, case number blah. Shooter Natural Park, falling incident. Okonomiyawa. Okonomiya. Right, cool. Shino's priest wife's dead. Blah. 3. Requesting self-restraint from each organisation concerning the release of sensitive information. Please attach reference materials 1, 2, and 3. Management, Prefecture, Police Headquarters, Internal Line. Police Affairs Department. Oh. Okay, that's it. Cool. Cool. Alright, so I'm going to save it. That's chapter 8. So should get done in the next sitting. That has been like nearly 2 fucking hours. Holy shit, by the way. No wonder I was fucking up. But yeah, cool. Save. Always save. Save. Cool. That's that saved. New. Aye. Catch you later.